I'm here to help.
Yep, he's here to help. Put help in quotation marks.
Yes.
You saw the video.
Yes. And he's a good help. He might knock your monitors around and all that good stuff.
Stop stream. Luckily, he can't do that today.
Okay, I found it. On the other side. You hear Mr. Cat struggling, come in calm and just talk about your feelings, which is awesome that you can do that. Yeah, I'm good at panicking. And then realizing I'm panicking and like being like, what? Why? Why am I doing that?
That's like we were talking about my mom's move earlier, and she was panicking at first, and she was going in like in a doom spiral, and she was, what if this, what if that, you know? And I'm like, there is absolutely no good to what if yourself to death.
Yeah.
So let's cross that bridge when we get there. If we ever get there. We'll deal with what we have to deal with first, you know.
Yep. Which is, you know, not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're panicking already.
Right. You know, and I just had to talk her down off the ledge, basically. Oh my god, one if that. No!
Already? That was like 2 seconds. Oh my
that
gosh.
Was quick.
Is he that bad today?
What? He's all keyed up. Because he got out of school? At his graduation and everything?
Crisis control and push what you're feeling back to deal with later. Great, an emergency.
So am I.
Only when he's in extreme need of a nap. Ugh. Your own emergency, end of the world. And that's where it comes in. Like, you know how to use coping skills. And you know what makes it easy for you. But because it's your emergency, you draw a blank. You don't remember what you do. And so many people forget that. And instead of, you know, trying to help with it, they're like, oh, just snap out of it. It's not that easy. Anxiety and panic attacks are the worst, yes.
Covered in black fuzz.
That's alright. But
went so many directions when I did this that I can't just pull it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the problem with Blackwork. Like, not that it's a huge problem, but if you mess up just that little bit in one section, it throws everything off. Panic attack for over 30 years, been off meds for about 20. Oh wow, that's huge. Ooh, I am gonna butcher your name, and I apologize right off the bat. Lunixar? You're new here? Hi, welcome on in. Just say a fact that you just realized every person in this community, including you, wears glasses. It's so funny to you that we as crafters risk our vision to make amazing art. You know, that's almost true. I know a few crafters here on Twitch that don't use glasses or don't need glasses. But you're not wrong. Like,
A lot of people do.
A lot of people do. And some people that don't, honestly don't realize that, you know,
They probably should.
they either should or they might need them. Yes, Jody, I know, and we're working on that. I think that's the only song that's newer from Taylor Swift that, or not Taylor Swift, who sings that? Miley Cyrus that I like. Why I thought Taylor Swift, I have no idea, but because Baby Girl was talking about Taylor Swift the other day. Anxiety attacks for years and recently got diagnosed with panic attacks, changed meds, changing skills, more talk therapy. Yep. Oh, it is? Are you sure? I don't know. Oh, yeah, it is. What's the one that the Roses one? I don't know. I normally listen to rock. Lecture from your diabetic nurse. She asked when your last diabetic eye appointment was. Had to say before COVID. Supposed to get them yearly. Yes. Make an appointment. Probably will need new glasses too. Oh. Jody, I agree. Like, I think I might need new ears. Flowers is my okay. So I had it backwards. All right.
I know I need a new prescription.
But one of the problems with eye care is, and I'm pretty sure just about everybody with glasses will agree, they're not covered by insurance if you have insurance. Unless you specifically
not enough.
have. Like, I'm part of the union here, and our union actually does cover up to a certain amount for frames. They cover all of your lenses except if you get specialty ones. Like, this pair has transitions. So I had to pay for the transition part, but my frames and my lenses, aside from that, and the eye exam are covered. Which is good. But for people that don't have that, like, how do people afford glasses? I know before I worked where I do now, I would go like 5 years before going. Because I knew that it would cost quite a bit.
Mine covers like $125 on the frame and then a little bit of the lenses. But I have super bad vision. And my glasses, and I have to have bifocals too.
Yeah.
So my glasses can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, and you know that can be mentally draining on somebody. Like, oh my gosh, I need these, but I can't afford them. And you know, throw that into the mix, right? Bad for all these sites. Yes, which is awesome. Like, I get little dude extra pairs for his glasses because he loses them. He actually lost a second pair. Except I gotta schedule his annual because he's, you know, a kiddo here soon, so it's not as bad. Hubby's insurance last time. Oh, not covered. Yours, awesome. Get them online. Yep. I know there's Pair Eyewear, there's Zenny, and honestly,
what I have.
Where's Liz when we need her? Because Liz knows all of these places. And I believe she's affiliated with at least one place. So if you're looking, and Liz is around, maybe Liz can pop her link into chat.
If the pair I wear glasses, I like them.
They're cute. They are. And I love all the different frame cover things. I don't know, what are they called? Toppers. That you can get for them.
That's fun. So and it's neat so you can customize.
I think I messed. It's only in this area. Like 9 has quite a few. And I think something else I like about the pear toppers is when you need a new prescription, you can get the same pair of frames to fit the toppers you already have. Different days? Oh. Mix the two up. Oh no. In Canada, diabetic eye exam is covered by the province. Ooh, that's awesome. Really have no excuse except laziness. But if the last time you went was pre-COVID, it was hard everywhere to get appointments at any place, especially healthcare, and eye care is healthcare. Like, unless it's an emergency or even pushed through by your doctor, it was hard for even us with really good insurance to get any like specialty exams like that. But a snack. Yes. Wonder what she's gonna get. Back is done. Heck yeah. Okay, I tried messing up a second time there.
Don't mess up. Don't do me. Don't be me.
Like, it's so funny because my gateway craft is cross stitch, pounded cross stitch. I never learned how to do the stamped cross stitch first, and I'm quite grateful for that because, you know, it gave me a challenge when I was 5-ish. And yet, you know, I still go back to, that's the reason I can't count correctly. And we all know crafters can't count good.
Nope. Well, I have to do it more than once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, messed up.
I'm excited. You know, even though you had to frog that whole area there, you've made a lot of progress.
It goes super fast.
Ooh, oh my gosh, Mograine, that's scary. Anxiety provoking. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you had to be in the hospital through COVID, you didn't know what would happen. And I know a lot of people realized that the whole COVID crisis got them all more worried about mental health because it honestly did cause more issues than they had originally. Heard of cataracts, macular degen, couldn't see well at night, triple A. Oh gosh, no scarring from the diabetes. That's good. That's a plus.
Yeah, my anxiety got super worse during COVID. Already had, you know, mild.
Yeah. COVID was not nice to quite a few people. School teachers, I give you all the amazing credit because, like, not just in my area, but I'll say worldwide even. Teachers stepped up, literally some of them overnight, to do virtual schooling or be prepared for whatever chaos happened next. And that's like amazing. And
Oh yeah, it was rather quick. We had to figure out what to do.
And I know so many people that, during the 1.5 to 2 years of virtual classes, they're like, oh, teachers have it so good. No, because I could see, with 4 kids going through virtual classes, how stressful that was for the teachers. And like, they were grateful for the parents who could, step in if needed. Like, if I heard one of my kids having issues and needed, that little bit of push in the right direction, I would. But not only that, if I heard a different kid was having any issues also, and I was around, I would step in and be like, well, I know my kiddo needs like a bathroom break and stuff. And, it kind of got the teacher into the right path too, because like, I couldn't imagine having to do that over, the interweb, trying to keep how many kids in a classroom focused on anything.
Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. We only did the spring of 2020 totally online. And we were back in person in the fall.
That's awesome. Yeah,
but we were the kids, there were kids at home and there were kids in class.
Yeah. So
I had to do both.
In the fall of 2020, they did elementary and middle, I believe, could go to school every other day. I believe it was every other day. And then, no, they could go every day, but they had to mask up and all this other stuff. The high schoolers could either go every other day, and it depended on your last name, or just stay home. And I know so many kids that struggled with that.
Very, very few of our kids did well online.
Yeah, like...
even the ones who chose to be online.
Yeah, like, we had, like, my husband's cousin, his kid, it worked well for him to do things online, but not be there for the in-person class, because both of his parents work night shift. So his normal schedule was getting up in the middle of the night and hanging out with his parents. He actually increased in production during that part. But his teacher kept marking him as not being a good student because he wouldn't be there for the online duration.
Luckily, we didn't have to do any of the streaming parts of it where you had to be on video with the kids. All of our stuff was just posted in Google Classroom.
There were a couple teachers that did that, and it was between Google Classroom or Schoology. And I think there's a third one there, but they kind of got rid of that after a while because it was just too much on the parents. Because I was getting emails from all these services with, oh, your kid needs to do this or that, or right? But yeah, like, it was stressful as a parent. But like I said, I couldn't imagine being a teacher and going through that.
Yeah, because we have, I had 120 of them.
That's a lot. Feel the online school works best for your kid, but it's not for... Exactly. The online, the parent needs to do a good amount of oversight, yes. And the more kids that, from my experience, the more kids that you have doing classes at the same time, the harder it is to keep them all on track at home. Felt sorry for the kids later since e-learning started. There has not been any snow days. I think that depends on location because our school district tried that the first day and they realized that it's not going to work. So we haven't done it since that first snow day.
We still have weather days. We have, and the reason why we went back in 2021 is where I work is very small and rural, and not a lot of the kids have internet.
Yeah.
Because I live out in the country, there is no internet, even if they could afford it.
Yeah, so I don't know who funded it, but if a kid here, because we live in the country, and I'm grateful that I can get really good internet, but there's still people that can't. And it's a affordability thing. So those families that couldn't afford internet to get on for schooling, between a local cable company and a grant from the state, our school district could supply internet for a lot of families that couldn't get it otherwise. And not only that, but that was the start of all the students getting a Chromebook for school instead of heavy books and notebooks.
Yeah, we have Chromebooks for the kids too.
Back with food, what food? Rule number food popped up, what food? I think for the ice, I'm gonna go with the lighter gray. And then I think for the steam, I'm gonna go with... I might go with the darker gray for the steam.
Well, that might look good.
Tuna and tomatoes. Awesome. It's either that or the creamish color. I don't want to use white. Wish they had that back.
White's so boring.
It is. That's why I think the darker gray. And keep
this looks like a UFO.
It does. Kind of cool though. We have about 8 minutes until the next ad break. And I know, Vintage, you said about 4 p.m. Eastern you had to get going.
Yes, I do. Gotta do more moving stuff.
Which I am so happy that you and your son are helping your mother because, you know, stability like that is amazing. Eyes of Time, welcome on in. I hope all's well in your corner of the world. What's your
Even though they dumped it on her. Sorry.
Yeah.
Even though they dumped it on her, it's long overdue.
Yeah.
She needed to downsize.
So what's your normal days that you stream and times?
Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Usually stream Saturday at 5 p.m. for gaming, which I'll probably pop on tonight, but it'll be later. And then Sundays from 11 a.m. Central Time till I get tired.
And I'm in there almost every day, if not every day. If anybody's wondering.
You're one of my biggest lurkers.
Even on Sundays. I'm grateful on Sundays it's kind of, you know, not chaos at work. And, you know, I can pop in and see what everybody's doing. And lurking good. Hubby's, not so good. He caught a bug. Ugh.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Like,
Hello,
I know.
Paul.
I know that's why I was not on Thursday. Because I don't know what I caught, but I'm thinking it's the weather changes and the allergies. Because I could not breathe too well and my throat was so sore. Finally heard the thunder. Oh, only 2
Are you
hours.
getting the stuff we had Thursday? Come on, babe. Pearl wants to make an appearance.
Pearl, it's so pretty. You know, since it's almost time, let's go over to the face cameras again. Ooh, hold on, where'd you go? Oh, I got it. Right there. Oh, what happened? Ooh. There it was. How it is. Pop up in a second. Pretty sure the weather flew it. Flux and kicking in of spring. Yeah. Oh, there's Pearl.
Oh, I'm blurry. Hey,
Yeah,
Pearl.
It focused.
Say hello.
Well, let me go grab Maple quick. She just got up and stretched. Oh, baby
Hey,
girl's
hello.
like, don't move, Mom. I got her for you.
Say
Handsome
hello.
boy. Now, this is Maple if anybody doesn't know who she is. Right there. Now I know Vintage was one that checked in on me about a month and a half ago when my dog passed. And I am forever grateful for anybody who sent, you know, even an emoji or a reaction on Discord.
Yes.
Because I couldn't talk about it. I actually sat here, so I called out of work Sunday through Wednesday that week. And I sat here, I couldn't even craft. But I could lurk in other people's streams. I don't think I said anything in anybody's stream for a couple days. And yeah, knowing that, you know, this community is as fantastic as they are is amazing. Because, like, you know, that check-in, and I'm normally the one checking in with people. Like, if I haven't seen you in a while, or, like, you take off streams for a few days, I'm the one, are you okay? Do you need anything? Should I send you something? So, being on...
Check on your peeps, y'all.
Being on the receiving side, it was like, oh my gosh. Pearl is not spoiled. Pearl is beautiful. That's alright. And, you know, Hubbers knew exactly what I needed. Because, you know, I went from having Tonks, who was always by my side, to, you know, trying to figure out what I should do. And then he was looking at puppies and showing me pictures. And, you know, we went and visited Maple and her sisters because I wanted another female dog. Because there's something about the females that I have a connection to. And something that, you know, got my reaction straight up is how she was when I picked her up. She just cuddled, like Tonks did. And I know if you've been here before with Tonks, she would climb in my lap and just cuddle. So, it was a good thing and stuff. Miss Luna's being held too and says hi. Oh, what a beautiful
Miss
voice.
Luna.
But,
Pearl's starting to get antsy.
like, you know, it helped me mentally knowing that other people knew that, you know, just even saying hi or reacting or anything else, you know, it felt like it was seen, which is good, especially something as traumatic as that. And it could be the silliest thing. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like-
Oh, puppy kisses.
Like, one thing that could happen is, you know, a reaction to a storm, like a huge storm. And having that one person or something that, you know, checks in on you is amazing. Like, I know if, you know, Vintage says, oh, tornadoes, I'm gonna check in on her a couple hours later and make sure she wasn't affected. Good, Maple?
Know what we're doing here.
Pearl is like, this is my tail. I will slap everything with my tail. The only one that got a pass was your baby. Aw.